Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your modelers have practically built themselves.
Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Merv. Welcome to today's show. Happy President's Day for those of you in the US that celebrate President's Day. I've got it off work forever. So anyway, today we are not going to talk about a president. We are going to talk about a ship. I know I'm still doing ships, but we're going to talk about the USS Indianapolis in 1/350th scale. Now, you saw me review this kit by Academy not too long ago, and since then I got right on it and got building it. I wanted to do something different this time. I wanted to build this without the photo etch, without any of that other, stuff. I just wanted to take a ship kit and build it and see how it turned out. So that's what I did. And I've enjoyed this build. It's been fun, which photo etch to me is not fun. Yes, I am going to add some photo etch to it at some point in time. But we're going to show you where we're at with it, which is pretty much done, except for photo etch. And there's a surprise. We're going to look at where we're at on it. And the twist happens to do with color. And something that a lot of folks may or may not have known. So stick with Mad Dog Merv as we look at my build of the USS Indianapolis in 1/350th scale.
I've noticed is a lot of folks paint the foredeck on this ship in a natural wood color, and I never could figure out why until I saw these painting instructions from Trumpeter. And this is what they show. Now, the Academy instructions show it correctly with a deck blue on it. So I'm obviously going to paint it as correct as I can. So I decided to go with decided to paint it in the measure 22 scheme, which was very common later in the war. And measure 22 is 5N dark blue, navy blue, from the boot topping up to the height of the main deck, and then haze gray 5H on all remaining vertical surfaces. You see this on my USS Washington, and I also did this on my Missouri kit as well. And then the deck is to be painted in deck blue. Okay, so that's what I've done here. You can see it turned out good. Now, one of the first modifications that I decided to make was right here. You see this in the picture taken from her last refit in July of 1945, that the catapult was removed on this side and this ventilator was put in, and this cradle for the crane, for the aircraft handling crane, was installed. So I've gone ahead and modified the kit part, which you see here, so that it looks like a ventilator. Taken some very, very small stretch sprue, put it around the edge there, and built the cradle from scratch, and I think it turned out okay. So here's one more look at it with measure 22, and I like it, but unfortunately I got some other information. So I decided to change the color. Now, prior to her last refit, she was definitely in the regular measure 22. However, in July, and I want to say it was about July 10th, but it was in mid-July of 1945, at Mare Island, which would have plenty of new paint stocks, and there had been a directive to start painting ships in what they called an anti-kamikaze scheme, which was getting rid of the blues and the violets that were in the paints at the time and changing them to a neutral gray system. So instead of 5N being a navy blue, it was now navy gray number 7. Haze gray was changed just a little bit. Ocean gray was changed. Anyway, I decided to go ahead and paint it in this system because I'm relatively sure that she was repainted in this during this yard time just a few weeks before her sinking. So here you go. Here's a color chip chart that shows the haze gray late, navy gray number 7, and instead of deck blue, they went with a navy gray, or a deck gray, and you can see these colors here. So what I decided to do is I found a nice Tamiya color, a dark German gray for the navy gray, and a Tamiya neutral gray for the haze gray. And I had to add about 50% flat black to 50%, not quite, maybe 40% to 60% of that German dark gray to come up with the deck gray that I wanted. And I like how the results turned out on this particular model. And we'll look at that in just a moment. So here you go in modern photography with doing it in grayscale. Here is the original Measure 22 with the blue. Okay, kind of get that in your mind. And here is with the gray. So the pictures you see, all the black and white pictures from the past are very difficult to tell color. That's for sure. So anyway, let's move on. Assembling the masts. Here's how I did it. Because they're very delicate and intricate, and I had to put them into something to hold them. A lot of guys have different holder tools. I just used some styrofoam. I stuck them down in. It worked great while they dried. For the base, I went ahead and painted part of the base with just Tester's Gold, the little teeny bottle paint of gold. Then I went ahead, I sprayed a steel on the nameplate itself, went over it just a little bit with some Tamiya gold, kind of dry brushed it, and then I went ahead and used my Molotow chrome pen for the lettering. That's how it turned out. So here's the finished product. Keep in mind, I still have to put railings on it. I still have to rig it. There's a few ladders, a few other things I still need to do. But let's take a look at where we are at this point. I've drilled out most of the portholes on it. You can see those chains that came in the kit actually aren't too bad. And you can see I've added some antennas out of some bronze wire. I do need to touch up the paint on them, though, I can see. And instead of using the plastic ladders, I did go ahead and use some photo etch ladders for this, because the plastic ladders just weren't going to cut it. But yes, I will eventually get railings on it. You can see the ventilator and the cradle there, the Seahawk aircraft in its 3-tone paint scheme, which is correct for that particular aircraft at that time. You can see my radar. It's the kit radar. It's just black, and I've put steel over it. Yes, I will be replacing that at some point as well. But in the 3 weeks I've put into this, it's been a fun build. I've really enjoyed it. And it didn't turn out too bad, at least I think. This is a displayable model for sure. And you can see the Seahawk here with the chrome Molotow that I've used for the canopy. You can see how the cradle here turned out. Now, one thing I do want to do is down in that lower well area, I do definitely want to put the anti-skid surface on there, but I got to figure out how to do it because it didn't come molded in like some of the other areas of the kit did, but it's obviously visible from pictures. So anyway, this is how it looks. I think it's going to be a good display model for right now, and eventually, like I say, I'll do some more work on it, but for now it's going to look really good on the wall in my new cruiser display that I'm putting together. Thank you for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you got something out of it. We'll see you again soon with some more shipbuilding.